What was it like to turn Team Starkid from a group of friends with similar interests into an actual business?
It's hard. It's hard to, and to be honest, we're still making, we still work on that transition all the time. You know, from we become more successful in the company or something like that. It's, you know, you have to start basically relying on, hey guys, we're all friends, let's all do this together. That flies for a while, and it's probably the most important thing that helped us get started. But eventually, you know, you need to provide some stability, and so that people know that they are sort of benefiting as much as you are, or yeah, I don't know. How would you guys put it?
Yeah, it's a transition that never ends. You know, it's not like we now are a completely functioning company that has no problems. It's like we have so many problems constantly, and it's working with your friends is probably one of the hardest things there is to do. It's like
It makes me think maybe I should have got a degree in business. I probably could use that right now because we're just making up the rules for how to create a company, how to do this stuff. It's very difficult. It's a lot of the time it's very emotionally painful because you can't treat when you start treating friends like they work for you, even though they technically do, you can't. It's like if Apple was filled with all of Steve Jobs' best friends and like his family members and his brothers.
He probably
it would be difficult to do.
He probably wouldn't have been so mean to them, and then also wouldn't have created such a great project. So we're just looking for people we can be mean to. Is basically the plan. No, but you know, it's something we just continue to work on. And you know, there is always a line between friend and just business associate, and so we're just trying to figure out how to do both at the same time.
Yeah. Well, Matt, if it makes you feel any better, I have a degree in business, and I would have no idea how to run a company. So
I think it's just an inevitable learning experience if you ever get into business for yourself.
yeah, I think it's kind of like a as you go type thing. But
Yeah.
most of the people where I went to school were accountants, so it's that wouldn't help me very much. So you guys, well, you turned it into a business. So do you all kind of do this full time, or do you guys have like Clark Kent 9 to 5 jobs that people don't know about?
We do this full time, the three of us, and there are like 5 other people who do it full time. But a lot of the actors that you see in the shows do have Clark Kent jobs. They don't have the benefit of being Superman. Only a few people have that benefit.
Yeah.
yeah, but for a while during until we started doing Starship, we did have other jobs. Like during the Harry Potter musical, me and my dick, and the Harry Potter sequel, like Brian was
Everyone
working,
had other
Brian
jobs.
was working at a soda fountain in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I for a while worked doing data entry at 5 in the morning. And I
That's
and then you know, like I've taught at summer camps, theater camps, and stuff like that. But now we do it full time. The only one who didn't have a job was Matt.
I was in school.
but he was in school so that we could.
I was a full-time student. I was busy with classes.
Pretty much.
Omit earlier statement.
Pretty much these plays are like a full-time job.
Whenever the reason why Nick had some, you know, because Nick also worked as an editor for a little while, but that Nick had to switch jobs because whenever we did a play, he put everything into it, the same as Matt, but Nick would leave his job, also often leave the city he was working in to go work on the play full time. you know, and that was a huge risk because during those years we were basically seeing no return on any of it other than just amassing a fan base online, which was great. But
yeah, but for the first show, I'm actually probably the least responsible man that I know. Because in the first show, sorry, Matt is the least responsible man. But yeah, so I was working after school, after I graduated college, because during college we made a web series. We sort of won this we won this contest called the Soap U contest. We made a web series called Little White Lie, and then we thought that it was going to go up on soapnet.com and abc.com, but it turns out that they didn't want it, and all the people that were in charge of the contest at SoapNet all left the company by the time we were finished with the thing. With the
so no one knew about the contest.
Nobody knew about the contest, and nobody cared about the web series. So we, but there was a guy working at SoapNet that was our friend, because we met him during the contest, and to me and Eric Congale after school were able to go out to Los Angeles, and the guy Jeff Molyneux, he really helped us get at SoapNet, so I was an editor for a while. Sorry, man. Sorry.
I don't know if this will be used for the answer.
Well, your answer didn't get used, so anyway. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I had a bunch of money saved up from being an editor, but then I got fired. So I went back to Michigan to help Matt do the first show, to help Matt do it, and I spent all my money on the first Harry Potter show, just thinking it was a for fun thing. So it was stupid. But I'm glad I did it now.
Yeah. A lot of my advice to people that want to do something, I would say you have to be okay with A, losing a lot of money, B, being stupid, and C, having everyone tell you you're wrong. And in most cases, you will achieve all three, and you will just be wrong, and you will just have wasted a lot of money and stupid, but maybe once something will work. Mm-hmm. But you have to be okay with doing that stuff.
Multiple times
in a row.
We've done things before the Harry Potter musical where we spent all our money, looked stupid, wasted our time, and the project didn't even get made. So it's like a lot of failures happened before the success.
Why did you choose Chicago as your home base for the theater company rather than New York or LA?
Chicago, for us, it doesn't really matter. We did our first play in Ann Arbor, and no one seemed to mind that it was not in New York or LA. So we thought Chicago provides sort of reasonable standard of living, It's easier to live and work here than it would be for us in New York, I think. There's more availability of theaters and spaces, and the theater community is a little bit more encouraging. So those are all really good reasons. Also, it's got this nice, big, beautiful Lake Michigan running alongside of it, which is a nice sort of feature of Chicago.
It's a lot closer to our families.
Those are basically the reasons.